boards. And thank you so much for joining today. We are joined by Dan Eck. Dan, I believe you're presenting today, right? From E&Y.
Actually, sorry, Dorothy will be presenting today.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. And the topic is navigating your path towards financial success. Just a quick note, if you don't mind just muting yourself. And then we will open up for questions at the end. And of course, just ask your questions in the chat and we could answer those as well as we progress through the presentation and at the end. So Dorothy?
Yes. Hello. How is everyone? I'm so glad to be here. And are you ready for me to go now as the introduction?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay, great. So I am going to be presenting the Navigating Your Path Financial Success. I did want to first give you a little introduction on my background. So my name is Dorothy Miras-Taddy. I'm going into my 10th year here with EY. I hold the Certified Public Accountant as well as Personal Financial Specialist designations. I have a master's degree in accounting with a concentration in fraud and forensics. And I'm also licensed in real estate and interior design. So I have pretty much knowledge on a lot of the areas of financial planning. And let me just share my screen first so we can get started. All right, can everyone see my screen?
We can.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So I did want to just give you a little bit about EY. So EY is a personal professional services firm providing services in the areas of tax, audit, and consulting. EY does not sell any financial products, nor is it a planned fiduciary. The Employee Financial Services Group offers financial education to employees as an employee benefit, and there is no cost to the employees. So providing the ability to better understand your financial situation and enabling you to make informed decisions. So that's what we do. Today, as I mentioned, I will be presenting the Navigating Your Path to Financial Success, which is just part of the financial planning guidance, which is offered to you through EY as a benefit through PBUCC. So these are the tools and resources that are available to you. You see, you have the EY Navigate Planner line, which you're able to speak with a personal financial planner, have a personal planner that will work with you personally, providing you more comprehensive planning in all areas of financial planning, as well as the ability to just call in with any one-off questions that you might have. Additionally, the EY Navigate Digital provides you access to tools and resources on our website, which you can also work with your planner with those tools and resources. So don't ever feel that you're on your own on the site. We're here to work with you, and there is the app available for download. The EY Navigate Group Learning is accessible via registering on the website. And there is going to be a new webinar each month. Those are recorded and replays are available as thereafter in the month. So as you review through the presentation, you may want to be thinking about your action steps and things that you might want to accomplish as far as goals to be able to create an action plan to get to your financial goals and have success, and keeping that maybe visible. So start thinking about steps that you'd like to take. You might be wondering, when you hear financial wellness, what does that actually mean? Quite simply, it just means that it's the ability to maintain having your bills paid on time, money in the bank, and unexpected expenses can be covered. You know, if those do arise, and they do from time to time, so you're able to save for those goals, such as large purchases or a vacation, maybe retirement, without feeling the stress of it and knowing that you're going to be able to get there. All right, so financial planning is creating a plan for accomplishing your personal financial goals and to determine how to reach those goals is the process that you're going to learn to follow. First, you're going to determine your starting point, where you're starting out today based on your net worth and cash flow, which we're going to get into in a little bit, and then understanding where you want to be, what goals do you have, and determine how much you're going to need to save to reach those goals in order to get there, we'll say safely. So when you hear net worth is your assets minus liabilities, or what is known as your debts. Assets are things that you own, and those things might be like your home, your retirement investments, your assets, other investments that you have, not necessarily tied to retirement. Your personal assets would be things like your home, as I mentioned, your car, personal belongings, things like your furnishings and clothes, maybe jewelry. Your retirement assets would include things like your employee savings plan that you have with PBUCC, maybe any additional retirement savings like an IRA. And your investment assets would include things like your bank, checking accounts, savings accounts, certificates of deposit, even brokerage accounts. And these investments, your investment assets, are known as what are called taxable accounts. Those are things that are currently taxable to you, whereas your personal assets and your retirement assets, will say, are known as tax deferred, because you're deferring the taxes until you take the money out. Now, your liabilities or debts would include things like your mortgage, your home equity loan, line of credit, or credit card balances that you carry on your credit cards or other loans that you might have. And then the EY Navigate digital site has a net worth calculator so that you're able to calculate what your net worth is. Cash flow is what I like to think of as your free cash flow, actually, and that is what's left over from your income after you pay all of your expenses. And that would be available to save towards your goals, or, put into savings that you are able to reach those goals. When viewing your expenses, it's important to also consider which are necessary and which are discretionary, or not necessarily that you need them, but things that you want. And those things might be, necessary, your mortgage payment or rent, utilities, whereas optional expenses, those that are not quite necessary, again, you would be able to live without them, but they're just things that you might want to have. And then that's the best way to work on paying down your debt, is to determine where is your money going on unnecessary things. And you may be surprised at how you could potentially increase your free cash flow just by eliminating or cutting down some of those things that you don't really need and you want to really focus more on your goals. The EY Navigate site has the goal of live by a budget, which will help you to be able to get those things in check. And also, it's a good idea to work with your planner, because we can certainly help you to work through that. Now, after you determine what your goals are, then you're going to want to put together an order of your goals and a list of priority. So you only have so much money in that free cash flow to go towards the goals that you have. So if there's more than one, they're competing for those dollars that are available. So then make sure your goals are what are called SMART goals. SMART goals are things that are specific. You're naming them specifically. So for example, if it was a car you were trying to save for, instead of just listing it as a car, be specific with the make and model, knowing exactly what you're looking to get to. Measurable is the money that you'll need and when you'll need it. So you have to measure out how much you're going to need and how you're going to get there. Actionable is the steps you can take to reach that goal. So maybe how much you can save each week or each month to reach that goal. And then realistic, that you could really do it. This is something within your abilities to save for. Time bound sets a time specific to it. So you're going to have dates of when you plan to start and the date that you plan to accomplish that goal. And as an example, let's take a look at the 6-step retirement planning process. So the 6-step planning process is going to be, similar for whatever goals you have, whether it be retirement or any other goal. You're going to know or determine how many years between now and when you plan to retire. And then how many years from retirement until what you'd assume to be your life expectancy. So you'll want to think about maybe your family history, is there longevity in your family, and also your personal health for determining an assumption of how long you might live in retirement, because you're going to need your money to last that number of years at least. And you always want to maybe think of more conservatively, adding a little bit to that, just on the chance that you live longer than you anticipated. Think about what you'll do in retirement. So where are you going to live? Where would you plan to stay in the same place, maybe move, relocate? If you plan to relocate, it's going to be a bit more challenging. You're going to have a little bit more planning to do, not being so familiar maybe with the other area and the costs and such. And that's something too that your planner can assist you with. Where, what are you going to do each day on a daily basis in retirement? You're going to have more time potentially. If you're not taking on a part-time job, which is something you might do. Otherwise, you might be traveling more. You might have a hobby that you might want to spend time doing. So that's going to all come into how much you're going to need based on those goals. So then how much will you need? Well, how much would you need to be able to spend each year in retirement? And you're going to want to add a cushion for those unexpected things. What about extraordinary expenses, things that might come up as a one-off out of the unknown, maybe a new car purchase, maybe a new roof on your home. And then don't forget about your assumptions for inflation. You're going to want to be able to keep up with as quickly as prices are increasing. I mean, if you look at currently where we in, our inflation rate hit over 9%. And I know that's not typical and that's not going to happen maybe, many years, but you want to be able to at least keep up. And the rule of thumb would really be that when you're a conservative investor and you have your money in savings, you want to make sure that the rate of return you're getting is at least above the inflation rate. And then you may spend less in retirement. That's going to vary from one individual to another. Typically, decreasing expenses in retirement are going to be things like Social Security, the tax, that's a tax on your earned income, savings, you'll be transitioning into spending as opposed to saving for retirement. Your housing costs, maybe you'll have paid off a mortgage, or like we discussed, relocating. That might mean that there's going to be different costs. They're going to vary and change. Transportation, if you were commuting previously at work, now you're not going to have that expense. But then the expenses that could increase would be things like entertainment, because you have more time on your hand. You may be doing a little bit more traveling, or maybe you want to go out to dinner, do more things, and you need more money to do that. Medical expenses, not only premiums increasing, but also concerns with aging. You may have additional health concerns that's going to cost more money to be able to fund in retirement. So what will you have in retirement? Your PBUCC retirement benefits you'll also have additional, perhaps personal retirement savings, maybe an IRA, Social Security. So these are all the assets that you're going to have as your availability for income. Now, the pre-tax contributions are deducted from your pay at a minimum of $25 a month and up to the maximum IRS limit of $20,500 for this year and $27,000 if you're above the age of 50, or 100% of your cash salary is what you're able to put into your retirement account. In retirement, when you're receiving the benefits, 80% of your employer contributions must be annuitized. So that means that taken as a fixed monthly benefit. Up to 20% of the employer contributions can be annuitized and insured to the retirement savings account, the RSA, and continue to be invested with PBUCC, or it can be transferred to an IRA or taken as a distribution of cash to you, although any cash distributions are going to be subject to income taxes. Once the annuity benefit is started, it cannot be changed. So be very thoughtful when you're thinking about how you want your benefits to be paid out. And this is something too that you'd want to discuss with your planner and make sure that you're heading in the right direction, making the right decisions. 100% of the retired minister's pension, as well as withdrawals from the RSA by clergy members, can qualify for the housing allowance, and this be excluded in part or all from taxation. So that's important to think about, and also something you can discuss with your planner as well. All right, so this chart is going to show the IRA eligibility and contribution details for 2022. If your modified adjusted gross income is in the phase out range, and that means it lessens the amount that you can contribute with respect to a Roth IRA, and it lessens the amount of the contribution that you can deduct from your taxable income with respect to a traditional IRA. So also another thing that you can discuss with your planner to make sure that you're making appropriate decisions. The earliest, we're going to look a little bit into now with your other benefits. We're looking at Social Security. So the earliest you can collect Social Security is age 62. Full retirement for Social Security is between 65 and 67, and that's dependent upon the year you were born. So collecting at 62 or any time below your full retirement age results in a permanent reduction in your Social Security benefit. The reduction is 0.5% for each of the first 36 months before your full retirement age for Social Security, plus 5/12 of the 1% for each month in excess of 36. So if you delay collecting Social Security past your full retirement age of 70, or past your full retirement age up until age 70, there will be a permanent increase in your Social Security benefit, and that's 8% per year or 2/3% per month. You can obtain your Social Security benefit estimates via the Social Security website at ssa.gov. The estimates are based on your actual earnings history. The Social Security website requires you to register to access it, but it should take just a few minutes for you to do that, and then you'll have that information so you can also discuss with your planner your retirement goals to make sure that you're on track and add those benefits in. Then in this, back to the 6-step process for the financial planning on retirement, you're going to determine, is there a gap between what you're going to have and what you need to get there? So this can be accomplished by exploring the goal of retirement planning on the eWay Navigate website. And this too, you can go through with your planner. Don't ever feel like you're alone and you're on that site by yourself. We can walk you through these goals, calculators, and resources together on a call. We're always here to help you. Now, you have the ability to link accounts in that goal for retirement to automatically import and update your balances. This tool displays the results in a very user-friendly, easy to understand way. And if it shows you are not on track to reach your retirement goals, there is a slider for you to make adjustments to your plan for getting on track, and determining, what things you might be able to do to get to your goal. So I would highly recommend you explore the goal together with an EY planner so you can go over what your options are, making sure you're fully familiar with everything that you're able to do, because you certainly want to be able to get to your goal for retirement and get started as soon as possible so you have more time to make those plans. So when you're not reaching your goal, there are things that you can do, which, as I mentioned, your planner can assist you with. So those things might be adjusting your savings, maybe contributing more to help get you to your the goal amount of spending that you wanted. evaluate your retirement income needs, make sure that those are appropriate and you're calculating those accurately. Perhaps consider a new retirement date, maybe retire later, or a combination of the above, considering the potential for working part-time in retirement. And you can change how your money is invested. We can assist you with asset allocation, which is to determine the appropriate mix, how you should have your money invested so that you'll reach your goals. And that's something that is within the retirement planning goal on Navigate. It's asset allocation that, again, your planner can help you with that to determine the appropriate mix. To ensure that you remain on track, you should review your plan at least on an annual basis, or sooner if there were any changes to your personal or career life that may cause you to reassess your goals. And this includes, going through asset allocation, that risk assessment. Perhaps your risk tolerance had changed and you need to make an adjustment, or maybe you need to increase your retirement savings contribution if it's within your allowable cash flow, that you have additional funds to be able to contribute more. So consider, now which of these 3 action steps that you see here that you can commit to. And I'm hoping that you all might feel that you want to get started on planning after going through this, and you're ready to get that action plan started. As always, I like to remind you that you're not alone. You have the EY Navigate website as well as access to your very own personal financial planner to assist and guide you in the best, it'll take you to be your best financial self that you can be. PBUCC and EY value your feedback on our services and to ensure we are meeting your needs. That is very important to both of us. So hopefully, the presentation was helpful to you and you're wanting to get started with planning. PBUCC and EY request you complete a short survey, which you can text WKSP PBUCC to 609-644-9622 and receive a link to the evaluation and the EY Navigate digital website. And if there is anyone that has any questions, I'd certainly like to address those now.
Thank you, Dorothy. If you have any questions, go ahead and unmute yourself and you can ask the, the question.
I have a question.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Okay, my name's Stephen. I'm 52. Not sure how many more years I'm going to be staying in ministry. But the big question for me, because I'm probably going to be one of those, I can't retire till 70 because they're going to move up Social Security draw dates aside. I'm 65 the year 2035. And I know they've been bumping things upwards. What should I expect aside from Social Security to have as a nest egg from all my combined retirement resources to be able to make ends meet? And we live frugally, but to make ends meet in retirement. I mean, what's a solid number I should be expecting? And then what will that number be if Social Security is not there or is reduced at that point?
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. That is a great question. A lot of people have that question. They even call us in about that.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's going to be different for every single person because just as you said, you're frugal rather.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is different. Some people have a more lavish lifestyle. Some people like to live, minimalist. And it is going to be based on the way you live, where you live, your location, because expenses are going to be different no matter where you live, as well as the assets that you have, because some people have their employee benefits as well as maybe outside accounts like an IRA or brokerage account that they've been saving. So it is really going to depend. But certainly if you call the EY planner line and have a discussion with your planner, because they can gather all that information from you. And when you go through the goal of retirement planning, you're going to be entering that information into the tool, and we're able to see what you've entered. We'll see what your plan looks like and be able to guide you and maybe give you some tips based on if you're on track or not, and what you can do if you're not on track to reach that goal. So it's, unfortunately is going to depend on each person's individual lifestyle, location, and the assets they have. So there's really no rule of thumb other than 80% of your current income, looking at what your income is. And that's really just a, basic rule of thumb, because it really is going to depend on how much you want to be able to spend in retirement.
Right, right. I read a lot of articles through financial magazines and things like that, and basically I just have what I put into my pension board's accounts. So I have that and Social Security. And I'm not so sure Social Security is going to be as helpful as I'm counting on right now. So I see figures like 1.5 million to 2 million in additional net worth or assets, and so that's pretty scary when you're a pastor.
Yeah,
so that's why I asked that question, because it's like I have some years left to work, obviously, and at Credo they evaluated us, and I was more than on track, but not even remotely close to those kinds of numbers, which is frightening. So.
Right. And you do hear things here and there, especially when you're reading different financial articles. You just want to make sure that you're basing it on you personally, because you're going to hear those generic numbers.
Right.
But if you do have it in your cash flow to be able to save additionally in some type of a retirement account, if you're not already contributing up to the maximum limit in your employee plan, that would be the first place to start.
Right.
If you do have additional cash flow. And then if you do have additional funds after that in some type of IRA or another form of retirement savings, would be great to help you.
You did say, and I think you said that there is, depending on your situation, the possibility that 100% of your distribution from the pension boards could end up being like considered housing allowance in retirement. Did you say that? That's how I've heard.
Right. So in retirement, the money that you're receiving from the board, whether it's your annuity benefits or you're taking money out in distributions from your account as clergy, you're able, and again, it's according to the current clergy tax law, you're able to exclude part or all of your income in retirement from taxation. And it's going to be based on the lesser of those three items. That is the current housing allowance. In retirement, it becomes the housing exclusion, the amount that you're able to exclude. So it's the lesser of the amount that is your actual housing expenses, the fair market rental value of your home with furnishings and utilities, or the amount that you're actually receiving from the board. So whatever is the lesser of those three items is what you're able to exclude from tax. But that's again under the current tax law for clergy.
I got a while ago. That could change. Hopefully not.
That's true.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for answering my question.
Oh, you're so very welcome.
All right, great question. Does anyone have any other questions? All right. Well, I will take that as a no, but thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and EMY for the presentation today. And there will be a copy of the presentation and a recording on our website in the coming days here. So just be on the lookout for that. And if you have any questions, financial planning questions, you can give EMY a call to ask them on a personal basis. So again, thank you so much for your time, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for having me. It was such a pleasure. Have a great day.